If there's one game from the 16-bit era that perfectly embodies the phrase underrated gem, it's Demon's Crest. Released on the Super Nintendo in 1994 by Capcom, Demon's Crest is a hauntingly atmospheric action platformer that many gamers missed at the time of its release, but those who experienced it have been singing its praises ever since. The game is a direct spin-off from Capcom's Ghosts and Goblins series, and it follows the journey of Firebrand, the red demon who used to give Arthur such a hard time in that brutally difficult franchise. While it wasn't a commercial success at launch, largely overshadowed by the heavy hitters of the era like Super Metroid and Donkey Kong Country, Demon's Crest has garnered a cult following over the years. Many players now consider it one of the best games on the Super Nintendo, a title that never got the recognition it deserved. The game's combination of jaw-dropping visuals, intricate level design, and an eerily beautiful soundtrack make it a must-play for fans of retro gaming. But Demon's Crest is more than just eye candy. It offers deep gameplay mechanics, including Firebrand's ability to morph into different forms, each with its own powers, allowing players to explore its non-linear world in a way that feels surprisingly modern. Set in a dark Gothic world where demons rule over various realms, the game introduces us to a powerful artifact known as the Crests. These crests, tied to different elemental forces, earth, air, fire, water, time, and heaven, grant their bearer immense power, and whoever collects all of them can attain godlike abilities. As the game begins, Firebrand already possesses several of these crests, but a massive dragon named Somulo defeats him in an epic battle, leaving him weakened and robbed of the crests. The game kicks off with Firebrand breaking free from his imprisonment, setting him on a quest for revenge and redemption. His mission? To reclaim the stolen crests and defeat the demons who stand in his way. Throughout his journey, Firebrand must face off against a variety of powerful enemies who each possess one of the crests, making each battle not just a test of strength, but also a crucial step toward restoring his former power. What's particularly interesting about Demon's Crest is how it balances its story with gameplay. The narrative unfolds mostly through visuals, boss encounters, and occasional bits of dialogue. The multiple endings encourage players to dig deeper into the world of Demon's Crest, exploring every nook and cranny to unlock all of Firebrand's powers and discover the full story. It's this non-linear storytelling, combined with its gothic atmosphere and darker tone, that makes Demon's Crest stand out among the more lighthearted or straightforward narratives of other Super Nintendo games. When it comes to gameplay, Demon's Crest sets itself apart with a blend of classic action platforming, Metroidvania-style exploration, and a dose of RPG mechanics that made it feel way ahead of its time. You take control of Firebrand, the demon anti-hero, navigating through a non-linear world packed with secrets, power-ups, and epic boss battles. At its core, the game is all about mastering Firebrand's abilities, which evolve as you collect the elemental crests scattered throughout the world. Each crest grants Firebrand a new form, opening up different powers and traversal options that are essential for progressing through the game's labyrinthine levels. At the start, Firebrand is already a force to be reckoned with, able to breathe fire, hover in midair, and cling to walls, a mechanic that really sets the stage for Demon's Crest's vertical and multi-layered level design. But it's when you start unlocking the crests that the game truly opens up. Each of the 6 crests you collect gives Firebrand a new transformation, allowing him to tap into the powers of earth, fire, air, water, and more. Combat is another major highlight, blending ranged and melee attacks with strategic movement. Firebrand's ability to hover mid-air gives combat a unique, more tactical feel compared to other action games. You're constantly juggling positioning while shooting fireballs or using other abilities unlocked through the crests. Adding to the depth is the game's light RPG elements. Throughout your journey, you'll find various power-ups like vellum scrolls that allow you to cast spells, life extensions that increase your health, and potions that offer temporary boosts. You can purchase these from vendors scattered across the world, giving you even more tools to customize Firebrand's abilities and tailor your strategy. One of the game's most brilliant moves is its difficulty balance. It's challenging, no doubt, but it never feels impossible, especially compared to the punishing Ghosts and Goblins games that inspired it. Instead of forcing players into frustrating trial-and-error scenarios, Demon's Crest encourages experimentation. The combination of these elements, non-linear exploration, multiple forms and abilities, tight combat, and light RPG mechanics makes Demon's Crest one of the most unique and rewarding experiences on the Super Nintendo. It's not just about moving left to right, defeating enemies, and reaching the end of a level. The game invites you to think strategically, explore every corner, and use everything at your disposal to overcome its challenges. For fans of Metroidvania-style games or those looking for something that breaks the mold of traditional platformers, Demon's Crest offers gameplay that's as deep as it is satisfying. One of the most striking things about Demon's Crest is its visual presentation. Capcom absolutely nailed the dark, gothic aesthetic, giving the game a mood and atmosphere that stand out even among the many visually impressive titles on the Super Nintendo. From the moment the game begins, you're greeted by haunting, decaying landscapes that set the tone for Firebrand's journey through the demon realm. The game's use of detailed pixel art and moody color palettes evokes a sense of dread and mystery, making every level feel like a part of a ruined, cursed world. The attention to detail in the backgrounds is particularly noteworthy. Whether you're soaring through the sky above crumbling castles or exploring the eerie depths of an underwater graveyard, each environment feels meticulously crafted. The sprite work is another area where Demon's Crest shines. Firebrand himself is one of the most visually dynamic characters in the SNES library. Each of his transformations is beautifully animated, with distinct designs that reflect their elemental power, like the hulking, armored look of the Earth Gargoyle form, or the sleek, winged design of the aerial gargoyle. It's not just the graphics that give Demon's Crest its atmosphere. Its sound design and music are equally important in creating that dark, immersive experience. The game's soundtrack is composed of eerie, haunting tunes that perfectly complement the gothic visuals. Tracks range from slow, ominous organ pieces that fill you with a sense of dread as you explore abandoned ruins, to more intense, driving themes that kick in during boss battles. The use of instruments like pipe organs, strings, and heavy percussion creates a foreboding mood that lingers throughout the entire game. What's really impressive about the music is how it adapts to the different areas of the game. Each zone has its own theme that reflects the environment and its tone. Whether it's the haunting melodies of a foggy cemetery, or the tense, energetic score during an aerial chase, there's a sense of grandeur and menace that runs through the entire soundtrack, reinforcing Firebrand's grim quest for power in a world ruled by demons. Capcom's mastery of the Super Nintendo hardware really shows in both the graphics and sound design of Demon's Crest. The use of Mode 7 effects to enhance the parallax scrolling in certain stages, along with the detailed animation work, ensures that the game still looks and sounds incredible even by today's standards. While many games of the 16-bit era leaned on brighter, more cartoonish visuals, Demon's Crest embraced a darker, more mature aesthetic that gave it a unique place in the Super Nintendo library. It's this combination of richly detailed visuals and a hauntingly atmospheric soundtrack that helps make Demon's Crest feel like a living, breathing world, a place both fascinating and fearsome to explore. Though Demon's Crest didn't achieve commercial success upon its release, its legacy has only grown stronger over the years. In the crowded landscape of the mid-90s, the game was largely overshadowed by other blockbuster titles like Super Metroid and Donkey Kong Country. Part of the reason for its initial underperformance was a lack of marketing push, combined with the fact that Capcom's Ghosts and Goblins franchise wasn't as popular in North America as it was in Japan. As a result, Demon's Crest flew under the radar for many gamers during its launch window in 1994. However, over time, the game has found a second life among retro enthusiasts and has been reappraised as a hidden gem on the Super Nintendo. The game's atmosphere and art direction also contributed to its lasting appeal. In an era where most Super Nintendo games embraced vibrant color palettes and more traditional storylines, Demon's Crest dared to be something darker and more mature. This unique aesthetic, combined with its challenging but rewarding gameplay, helped it to carve out a special niche in the hearts of retro gamers. In recent years, with the resurgence of interest in retro gaming and the advent of services like the Virtual Console on the Wii U and Nintendo Switch, Demon's Crest has found new life. Players who missed out on it the first time around have had the opportunity to experience it in its original form, and for many, it's become a new favorite. Discussions on forums and YouTube are filled with fans discovering or rediscovering the game, adding to its cult status and keeping its legacy alive. Though it never got the recognition it deserved during its initial release, Demon's Crest has since solidified its place as one of the SNES's finest titles, a game that's as beautiful and atmospheric as it is challenging and rewarding. Its legacy lives on not only in the fond memories of those who played it, but in the DNA of modern gaming, where its influence can still be felt.